Hi, so today you're going to see me this absolutely beautiful thing from Tabletop Scenics. It is the Kustom Workshop. Let's get cracking, let's do a build review. Hi and welcome to another video from me, Christopher at DBG. So if you didn't see our last video, we're still carrying on with the season 2 of the fantastic orc buildings from Tabletop Scenics. If you didn't check it out last time, it's on the playlist. This is the fantastic snack bar. It comes with stools, beer keg, and an umbrella-y thing and stuff like that. Really impressive build. That was 3 difficulties. So far we've built everything that's either a 3 or a 2. In fact, next we've got 2 final bits. Now with the announcement of orcs being pre-ordered this weekend and their fantastic workshop, I want to build something that is a direct comparison and I think is going to be a lot better. And that is Tabletop Scenics version of an orc Kustom Workshop. It already looks massive, it already looks so detailed. I'm really looking forward to doing this. Let's unwrap it, let's see what's actually inside it. I don't even know how many bits there are, but it seems quite a lot. And the most important thing is, it is goblin approved, because no goblins were harmed in the production of these models. Stamped to prove it. It is really cool. Got some nice little touches on it. It's even got some weird generator thing on the back, which looks, you know, it's just really funky. So let's get it open. And let's see the parts. Like all the parts so far, let's have a little bit of a closer up on that picture. You can see loads of little details on there. So anything like the TT Combat before, yeah, seems the same pattern. You've got it all coded, all numbered. Already I'm seeing pieces going up to 135 on here, the highest I've seen. So this is sprue F, just from the back opening. E. D. C. Again, little patterns on here. Bits to push through to make it a little bit more 3D element, so it's not the flat MDF that you're used to seeing on the battlefield. That is B. And it's a good sign in the MDF of how easy it is to come out as well. Big base on there as well, I presume a base. And A. And then they do an extra hard bit of MDF, which is normally used for the supports and other structures like that, which is G. Now with the parts so far, if you've not seen them already, T2 Combat has its instructions. T2 Combat. Tabletop Scenics has its instructions that are also available online. You just follow on the instructions. It's got either a code reader or the website link directly as well. Be interesting in this part because it actually uses curves into the structure, which I think is quite cool. And in theory, oh yeah, it's quite funky. In theory, that's what it looks like finished. Got a little bit of promo in the back of all their orc things coming out, and the Mechanicum structures as well, which I think each will equally look good. We've already built this. I haven't got one of these, but it's quite cool. It's an orc wall. Yeah, no, it looks really cool. Orc tower. I'll get one of those. So with all MDF, wash it down first, not drown it, just a little bit of water, warm water on the cloth sponge or something like that, just get rid of the excess from the actual production of it. Then from there, it's easier to put together, it's easier to build. Here it should be easier to sort of pull away from the MDF, but strongly use either an edge or a brush, so you can push down the individual bits, or just some standard you can use Games Workshop clippers. These are just some model clippers, just to push through as well. So what I'm going to do is build a bit of part already. Things to plan for when you're doing this sort of thing is build to a point that you know you can stop at. Don't just build and then go, okay, I've looked at only 2-3 of the instructions and I can't go any further because I can't leave the building and de-sprue the next part because it's so unstable. Carry on to a point where you know that structure is going to stand. So already looking at this, I'm probably going to go from 1 to 6, then from 7 to 11, and things like that. So you can tell from the actual building, from the actual instructions themselves, see how far you're going to get. They're really well detailed and described in that way, and the pictures are really clear as well. Different colours for different parts, where you're going to put it, what's the middle section, especially when you're doing the 3D element of the doors. So really impressive. It's a sandwich type of MDF build where you have a flat piece, then a topping which adds 3D element, and then some parts have got an extra part on that as well. It adds almost 3 layers of can't even think. 3 layers of almost MDF, but all different levels that you can often see to the first layer through to, from the third layer, because of the cuts and stuff like that. So it adds that real depth of scenery that you wouldn't expect from MDF, and that's why all of this stuff, I've only got one more thing to build from this, and I've just been impressed every step of the way. I have built it in a way that I've left the most impressive thing till last, but this is all. The last one was a choice of which one you wanted to see, and voted on our Facebook page that you wanted to see snack bar before I moved on to this. So this is my choice. This is my choice. The final choice though is going to be stage 5, well, difficulty 5, was the Iron Tooth Bastion, which it looks huge, which will be really cool. If it's quite nice, then I might get a couple of them, just to add real elements onto a scenery piece. I'm really impressed so far. This could be the first one that isn't completely line blocking, because it is got that hole through the middle. You'd expect like a tank or a truck, you know, being looted or you know, made up into the orc little touches that they do. So let's start. Hope you enjoy. Let's get building. So we have got to stage 8 of the build so far. So the first stage was getting these curves done, which is basically just really nice and simple, but just take your time on it, dry fit it. Even though it goes in order from 1 to 8, you do need to dry fit it, because it doesn't always go like the number at the end of the piece of the scenery, so you do have to rotate it a little bit. After that, it tells you to build these 2 ramps. So you can imagine an orc truck driving on here. This is going to be the base of where all the structure goes. You can tell pretty early on sort of like the level of detail it's already got just by actually having a ramp. Now we've seen the Games Workshop. So far questionable. Will I get one? I don't know. I want to get one of these, probably. And after that, it tells you to stick side bits on here. It does have a part where you stick onto here to go on the base. I haven't quite done that yet, because I just want to get, like I said, about getting to the point that I want before I stick this all down. There's a part where you stick the 3D element over the top of this as well to add structure to the bottom. Once I've done that and added in the struts and go on the other side, this will go in there. You see over the top is already going to look cool. The next part was the construction doors. So I just got to this point just because I wanted to see a point where I stopped. So you can see the doors, pretty cool. What it looks like is they both go at this location here, around that way. So one goes there, the other one goes around here. So it's almost like the little workshop staff room in a sense, which I think is quite a cool touch. So they even thought about it because it's got 2 access points. One's gone to the workshop, one to come out of it. So I think that's quite cool. What I want to do now is get this stuck firmly onto this, start getting that PVA glue to dry. That's going to take some time, so that might be the point where I'm actually going to leave it to dry at some point. Might need overpoint drying, I'm not too sure. By the looks of things though, the rest of the build you can almost build around that drying. So let me show you there. Quite hard to see, but on these starch it's about building that little bunker kit from 2010, so 9 onwards. So I really do think that you can get away with building the struts, having this part gluing while you're moving things around. No, just remember to be gentle, don't move too much, everything should be okay. But so far, really enjoying it. The fact is, I like the fact that it's not a block. I mean, other buildings are amazing, but I think I've done too many blocks. So for my own building sake, I would change it up a little bit more. But I'm still impressed with this. I'm still imagining a truck. Actually, let's compare it. So there's the ramp, there's a rhino that fits perfectly like they measured it. Oh, Predator. Not quite finished yet, but as you can see, it's there perfectly in the middle. Okay, in there. So that's quite a cool comparison of how big this actually piece is going to be. Let's get building. I'm really looking forward to seeing this develop. So the custom workshop is really coming along and really taking shape, and I'm going to show you because it's the best way of seeing it. So we left at getting this structure a little bit of sort of like a workshop in there, or a staff room, imagine, in a normal society. Then there's a nice little curve structure, just doing that, and then the last bit is just placing these up. The next part is really adding the 3D elements in. So if you can see inside, you've got a 3D element on there. All of these are going to get the sandwich effect. All of this as well. I don't believe this is, because I think that's how it stays, which is pretty cool. Even the side bits here will have enough parts, and here as well. There's more of these little parts going to go on there, and inside there as well. So this just continues through, and then it'll be another part on the side. As you can see, it actually glues onto this bit, and there's actually a curvature on there. So far, you know, it's big. There's your Predator for scale. It's a big structure, but with loads of spacing inside it, which I really like. I like these as well. It's just cool. There's little parts that you would want to wait to dry a little bit before moving on, and especially these two parts here, because they're not really stuck into like a ball and socket or anything like that. They're just sort of flat fixed. So I put plenty of glue on the top there just to hold it in place. Yeah, so far really cool. Going to finish with these parts, and then the next stage is adding the 3D elements into it. And then see how long those take to dry, and then move on from there. I hope you're enjoying so far. If you have any comments or anything like that and you want to talk about, or have any hints or little quick things, then please just shout away and I'll answer them. Hope you enjoy it. This is really cool. I'm really enjoying this. So we have done all the detailing of the outside. There's a couple of bits to do on the inside, but you see it's quite cool. There's a little bit of levelling to the building, like valley can go up. Still put them in there, they can stand up, go on the top. See all the extra levels now on the actual structure on here. Now, to be fair, this could be cool done, but there is I'm not even halfway through, to be honest. I've still got on part 21 and I've got 41 more, so I've got 20 more parts to go. And obviously it's just adding and adding on to the levels of details on here. Almost like another level onto it as well, you know, but you just sort of look at it and you know it's going to get better. That's what's really impressed by it. I love the fact it's got a level there as well. I didn't even see that on the front of the picture. So the fact is, you can stand some orcs on there, keep going up, orcs inside. It's a really good structure. The fact is, you could hide orcs along this side area, and they could jump out and come round, you know, assault what they wanted. Depends how you are on the board. But so far, yeah, it's got some real big weight to it now. Now I've started adding the 3D elements. I'm really impressed with this so far. I'm going to leave it to dry overnight now. I want everything to be solid, because the next parts are about building levels and height, getting some height to it. So I want to make sure it's all completely solid. I think there's a lot of glue holding these parts together. I want that to be completely dry, because there is a part here I'm not too sure that goes up as well. Looks quite funky, but let's just do a quick comparison of the snack bar. So if you compare it to the snack bar, that is where we are structural wise and building wise. That is the height difference. Quite a significant difference, to be honest. Almost. I was just seeing if these little cut edges could almost be fitted, so you could almost merge it into sort of some type of orc town. They don't quite work, but room for thought. So yeah, that's it at the moment. Blink, carry on watching the video. I'll be back after I have some decent sleep and get moving on to the next part, which is just building height and loads more detail, loads more intricate little parts as well, which I'm really looking forward to. Can't wait to see this done. Hope you enjoyed it so far. Please comment, sub, do all that stuff as well as you go along. But yeah, really looking forward to seeing the next part of it. Chat to you soon. So, progress so far on this absolute monster piece of scenery, in a good way. So, the last bit, you can see, is quite a lot of changes now. So, we'll have the stairs on here, which we'll go into a little bit more. We've got another level, which I didn't expect to see. So you've got some steps going up, got level of detail going on. Inside as well, there's some little touches. So you've got here, right at the back, you've got a little workstation. And then you've got a sign that says no entry, or no welcome, sorry. Right at the back there, it just fits nicely under the door. You can see these big pipes running through. They go all the way along. Now the original building part of it is you use this part here. You see it there, that goes here, and then it all joins together. I thought the way it goes, I didn't want to do that, and I wanted to use this excess bit to put on the other part, the other sort of drum that looks like it's got some liquid or fuel or something in there as well. So I've left that, put it on there, goes around the other side as well. So you've got two sort of entrance points into the fuel. Now these sort of stairway, I changed that quite a lot, because originally it was like loads of little parts that form like a cool ladder, but I wanted to make it look a little bit more themed with the steps, as you can see on the other sides. So you know, the parts that you use are sort of like bonding joints, so the ones that are just sort of slabs and you mix and put them wherever you want. I use those in the rivets, so I actually quite like that. It sort of still looks like that orc feel, that sort of rustic sort of look, but generally it's really good. This part, the advice is to, in my head, is to build it first, and the little rivets, use them as a joining point between the two. That's sort of how it works, but generally really impressed how it goes. Next stage is building like all the cranes, things like that. It'll be interesting to know what they sort of look like, because you haven't sort of seen them on the pictures at all. Let's see, so you got no energy generator sort of thing, workshop banner, and there's some chains and stuff going across, but I can't see the cranes on this picture, so I can only assume they're going to go at the back or something like that. So we'll have a look. I'm really looking forward to seeing what they're going to look like. If I've missed anything, don't think I have, but let's see all the rest of it. There's quite a lot still to do. I'm only on part 28 and 41, so loads of intricate parts on this, loads of time consuming. I don't want to build too much because, one, I need this PVA glue to set on these piping work, because I don't want them to just keep falling off, which they will do if you don't take your time on it. So, and one advice as well is use the actual building itself as other points of contact, otherwise they'll just fall off. So you've got some nice little parts in there. So let's carry on building. Well, let's leave this to dry for a little bit. If yourself, take a couple hours out just to let it completely dry. But overall, really impressed with it so far. It's good. I can't moan about it. I mean, even little things like this, like they give you a little spanner. It's just, you know, when it focuses. So you know, so I'm just gonna put that little bit of glue, put that in the middle on the floor randomly, and then, you know, adds a little texture to the painting when I'm doing it. I mean, you even got all these as well. So you got like the spanner, screw, hammer, things like that. So you can lay them all across each other. Got another one as well like that. So you know, you got loads of little bits that you could just stack up. You could put them on the workshop at the back, which will probably end up doing a good chunk of it, and others just scattered, almost scatter piece in there as well, which will break up the colour as well. So you know, if you're doing inside different colours and you've got that metallic or rust, depends what you're going for, the tools are inside as well. So yeah, it's really cool. There's so much to add, but yeah, so far really enjoying it. But gonna carry on, see where we get to. The next parts are full of loads of different parts, building what is really small contraptions, but it'll be really interesting to know how they turn out. Looking forward to it. I don't even know where to go, to be honest. No, I don't even think you glue the crane in, or glue the station at the back, the energy station either. They're just sort of like random bits my scatter piece of scenery, which again sort of fits in the theme of the snack bar, you know, with the umbrella and the benches. So I really like that. If you've seen the Orc release, I pre-ordered my Orcs Codex. I pre-ordered the cards as well, just because I feel when you're playing a game and you're looking through the book and all the time to memorize which objectives you've got and psychic powers and all that sort of stuff, I find it really boring, where I'd rather just have the cards in play, put them down. Also, they're very visual for your opponent, which is quite nice if you're playing that person, so they put the cards next to a unit that's got a buff or something like that, so if you shoot at it, you can just go, oh, there is something there, let's check before I nominate. I haven't ordered the Games Workshop set, because I just feel generally this is so much better. I mean, it's twice the size, it's cheaper from stockists, and it's so much more detailed than just a piece of wood with a crane element on it and a workstation. So I won't be ordering that. I'm going to stick with this. But the only thing I do like from the Orcs is probably the scatter piece of scenery that you get from the Speed Freaks. I think they're really cool, and I'll probably buy some of those to add into this element if they do them as an individual set, which I really hope they do, because yeah, they're nice. You know, nice bit of scattered scenery. You know, you could scan them all across. You could, you know, I could always even put an element of it in here as well, just leading off here. So yeah, I mean, the thing about this build is just lifting it up. It's so heavy on this side, so definitely storing it. You've got to be safe and secure. I mean, it is secure at the top, but remember, you're going to have extra elements when you build on this. So if you're planning to store it in some way, I recommend this is going to be your top piece, not your bottom piece, or if you're storing it in a box or something like that, or you're storing it in a low level box container that you go to the max height that this is going to be, and then you store everything else just in one level. But yeah, no, I'm really looking forward to it. Like I said, not ordering that workstation because this is just so much better. And it's got so much more elements to it and more depth as well. But that's my personal opinion. Tell me what you've ordered. Have you ordered anything in the Orcs Codex, or have you just ignored it entirely? I think they're going to be a really powerful codex, and I think they're going to change the competitive scene for gun lines. I think they're going to be strong enough to get into combat first turn, especially with some of the rumours going through, so like the +1 on charge and advances, and then they can teleport in for 9 inches, and then the Speed Freaks, the actual war bikers and stuff like that, they can actually move, assault and charge as well. I think they're going to be incredibly strong, but also turn 1 charging, which will change the dynamics of the game quite a lot on that, but equally it means you're going to have to be using your bait units a lot more, so scouts become even more valuable in a marine army because you place them 7-8 inches further up than your gun line, so they do get charged, and then everything else now is able to rapid fire the orcs, which are low toughness or low saves, so they're going to get absolutely hammered in that. The saving grace for orcs is the weight of numbers, so if you don't specialise too much, you could be fine. But I think that's actually going to be almost a downfall, is that you need them in combat so quickly. If you can't clear a path through the bait, as it were, or the first line of defence, then I think they're going to come unstuck. Equally, armies that don't really have bait, so this is non-soup lists in a sense, so custodes are going to really struggle because they're just going to get hammered almost instantly before they have a turn of their shooting. Now, equally, are they tough enough to withstand it? Will be the interesting question. I don't know. Well, obviously, I don't know because I don't know the codex. So, but where the rumours and all the battle reports and stuff are going on, they could be incredibly strong. Equally, trying to think what other armies that could do resources well. Tau. In fact, if you take the set that allows them to Overwatch on a 5+, that could be devastating for an Orc army that needs to be in combat. 5+ with rapid fire weapons that will wound because they're really, really high strength compared to the standard bolter. That's big, absolute massive, and you're gonna potentially lose a lot of Orcs going in. So I don't know. Will it change things drastically? Will the gunline army just be too good to be able to do, or is this just a cheaper version, a more quirkier version than a Khorne or World Eaters army? You know, if you take it as sort of pure combat thing, or Nids if you go Horde Nids, but most people don't because they've got the big Gribblies. I would like to see, personally, an Orc mech army, so Dreads, Mega Dreads, Stomper, the walking force of Orcs almost. I'd love to see that as an army. I know in my army at the moment it consists of 120 Orcs, boys, a combination of, you know, sluggers or the gun or shooters. Then I've got 20 looters, I want to say, 15 burner boys, 15 rockets. So you know, it's just a horde list. I wouldn't say it's going to be particularly that great. But then I haven't added in special characters and all that sort of stuff. So we'll add some stuff in there. But it's a fun list. It's not painted yet. I haven't had the courage, or James hasn't had time to sit and paint it all yet. Mainly because he hates Orcs in a horde form, which most people do from a painting point of view. He loves it as a visual, but hates it from a painting point of view. But let me know what you think of the Orcs Codex. I know it's a bit of a ramble one, but yeah, it's my style. I like just randomly chatting when a thought comes into my head, especially about an army that I really are passionate about, to be fair. I do love Orcs, I love the history. I am converting at the moment, trying to use a Demon Prince body to make a prime Orc. So the old Orcs of New there were 6, if you know the history. So there were 6 Orcs that were almost the same as like a Primarch or Prime Orc in a sense. So I'm using the demon body for that, and mixing it with Orc parts and stuff, a little bit green stuff here and there. I'm at the earlier stages. I'm not going to show it off yet, just because I don't think it's even show off worthy yet, because it's very rough. But I'm looking at it going, do you know what, it can really turn into something massive. You know, double-handed Orc, two Orc axes, or one massive Orc sledgehammer. I'm not too sure where my arms are going to go on it yet, but I love it. I think it's a really cool idea. I've seen things similar, but I've not seen this sort of style. So, but if you have, please share the photos with us on our Facebook page. I'm always interested in knowing what's sort of out there and different stuff. So yeah, by all means, share the photos. It'll be really nice to see. But yeah, that's going to be my main Orc character leading the force. I like the idea, and I don't know if it's been shown or not yet, but I like the idea that there was something like a Primarch for Orcs that's come back. You know, the Primarchs are rising, the Nid Horde is swarming, the Crusade is back for Black Legion, and the Orc Primarch, or Prime Orc, wakes up and goes, do you know what? That's a fight I want to be in, I want to be involved in. Let's get a war on. Let's get my buddies together. Let's go out for the real challenge. And that's the reason why they've been sleeping so long. I quite like that idea that they just thought, this is not a challenge for me, this is boring. So I'm going to rest until I've got a challenge, and I'm only going to rise up when I've actually got a real fight on my hands. And I think all the rise, all the Primarchs and stuff would do that to an Orc Prime. We'll see. I mean, I like the story of it. That's what I'm going to base my model on. Whether the rules are in the codex to be able to do something, or just properly max out some type of monster of an Orc character, then I hope they'll be able to. We'll see. There'll probably be an army that might get painted maybe next year anyway, ready for, you know, for another chapter approval 5 or something like that. But I like the idea of the army. I like the idea of building an army anyway, so it'll be done. And that's really about it. So let's carry on with the build. So I'm going on a tangent, and we'll go from there. So we have finished. Now this thing has so many little touches, it's hard to cover it all. But I just want to take your attention to the petrol tank at the back. Got the worktop, and we've got some extra sort of levels of MDF of some tools. And so what I've done is I've actually stuck them at the back there. I've also stacked them at random pieces, so they're in the middle there as well. Some little plates on the top. So the final part of the build was to build these three things. So we have a generator, which is basically, you could put anywhere in there, a nice little bit of scatter off to the side, quite like it. A crane, obviously for taking out the engines, just fits in, so you can put it into that side, which is quite a nice little touch. Again, you could use it as just scatter. You've got some metal griddles as well, and then you actually got their proper sign. So you've got build, custom, and repair on there. We've got an Orc face on there. The best mecha in town, quite like that one, and the other one's an arrow just pointing to the shop and then the top. So that can go up the top quite easily. So it's just sort of like a display if you want. I mean, you could put it anywhere on there really, but that's where it's sort of designed to go. You could glue it. I'm going to leave it off because I actually quite like it. It's a bit of a scatter of scenery round the piece. These are quite easy to build. Just take your time on it. They're all sort of slot ins. These are really interesting. Each individual one comes a piece. These are sort of electrical pylons. You get an extra enough to do 3 or 4 more. Which I'm either going to use, I might stick them on here, which is what they put in the picture, or might stick them on some Orc trucks and stuff. I might even use this on an Orc truck as part of the engine and sort of do it as the weird boy engine in a sense. I might, same for that as well, I might put that on the side of something, you know, and a crawling up the top or something. So not too sure, but quite like the idea of sort of using these parts in actually some of the actual miniatures as well. Now I really enjoyed building this build. Oops, sorry, it's still just gluing there. There we go. So we'll hold eventually. So I'm going to do just a sort of overview, see what it's like, quick shortcuts, and that's where we'll end. Again, just wanted to show it really close up, sort of level detail in there. I still find sort of the first bit was like the best bit, was these tracks, to be honest. They sort of set the standard of this building, and I really enjoy it. So that is it. That is the Orc building, built, finished. I must admit, I was impressed from when I started the Kustom Workshop. I'm still impressed of it. The size of it is massive. If you compare it to, say, the little Orc stronghold that we have built, you know, apparently it dwarfs it. You know, it could almost fit inside if it wasn't for those arrows and stuff. It is a huge bit of kit. Retails at, you know, sort of stockists that were selling it under £25. £25 gets you a new workshop, which looks quite quirky. I don't think it has the same feel to what this has. I'm a little bit speechless with it. There were so many compartments. It has taken me some time to build, more so because I'm filming as well. But if you did want to do a solid build of that, I'd say at least sort of 6 hours, because you can't just all build it in one stretch. You've got to do it in sections. You've got to wait for things to dry. But when you come back, you can do next bit and stuff like that. What I do recommend is you don't build it all in one sitting, not only because of the dry factor, but also for sanity. There's a lot of components here. There's a lot of difficult structures, and you don't want to muck up. If you muck up, you can't go back on a lot of this stuff. So actually, just taking your time, your patience on it, trust me, it'll be really pay off. I've done a couple of things different, like I mentioned, the back ladder and the piping round the top as well. Sort of change a little bit. It's really up to you what you find. I just found that sort of worked best for what I wanted. But it's a lovely building, fantastic price. I think better than the Games Workshop one myself. I think I've got my Orc Codex coming this weekend, as I pre-ordered it already. We'll do a sort of end review on that. But I do still have one more structure to build, which is the Kustom Bastion. Has taken its time. Trust me, that video is going to be out hopefully by, I don't know about this weekend, but hopefully by next week it's going to be out and give me a chance to sort of really build that. It's going to take some time on that one to really set and dry, but for this building, strongly recommend it. I think it's going to look fantastic when it's painted up. And the fact is, you could get away not painting it. You got a lot of detail and different colours, textures in the MDF anyway. If you don't really want to paint it and you just want it on a piece of scenery for a board, go for it. I think by far one of the best buildings I've built from this set so far. I know I said that about the Custom Shack, but actually this tops it, because of just the level of detail, the size of it. I wasn't expecting it that big. The fact that it, you haven't seen it on Instagram and shared our photos, but it actually fits the Predator inside, which I think is it's a big truck. Could it fit, most of the Orc vehicles in there? Yeah, I reckon it could, if you don't custom haul them all, obviously. But the new bikes and the new trucks and stuff, yeah, they could fit in there quite nicely. I strongly recommend this building. Thank you so much to Tabletop Scenics for sending it out for us to build and review. If you like videos like this, please like, subscribe to all our social media and share where you can. I hope you enjoyed this. Wherever you are in the world, make it a good one, and happy hobbying.